In this video, we'll take a quick look at the quiz. So the quiz is inside of a module of its own, and you will need to progress through each part of the module in order, and it's set up this way for the sole purpose of making the retake unavailable until you've completed Logic Quiz 1. The only thing you need to do grade-wise is complete Logic Quiz number 1. So you'll start by going to Quiz Tips, where you'll watch this video, mark it as done, progress to the next slide. Okay, so this is basically a page full of Logic Quiz 1 resources. You can get to this page now that you have marked the previous one as done in a couple of ways. One way you can get to it is from the home page. So here's the bottom of the home page. If you were to go to Logic Quiz 1, this is all of the resources for Logic Quiz 1, which covers sections 1 and 2. You can also always navigate back to the modules section. And now that we've checked this off, this section of materials is available. In the Logic Quiz 1 resources section, there's information about the quiz, a couple of tips, a practice quiz with solutions, and some additional exercises that are especially geared towards the practice quiz. The best tip to study is to test yourself. This is not a quiz you can do well on merely by memorizing and recalling information. So I recommend actually printing this out, or at least doing something by hand. Sit down and take the quiz without looking at solutions and see how you do. Then use that information to decide what kinds of practice exercises you should focus on. Okay, back to the quiz module. Okay, we still can't move on because we forgot to mark that page as done, so let's go back, mark it as done. This takes us to Logic Quiz number 1. Okay, so there's information about the quiz here. You can begin the quiz by hitting the blue button. I'm going to pause, take the quiz, and show you what the screen looks like once you have completed the quiz. Okay, I've just completed the quiz. Now that it's completed, there's a little bubble here that shows me I have a grade, and it grades all of the auto-graded questions. There are 4 short answer questions on this quiz, so those haven't been graded yet, so your score that you have is not your final score, it's just the score you've earned so far. If you were to scroll down, you would see all of the solutions to this quiz and sometimes explanations as well. I clicked on the modules page and came back to Logic Quiz 1, but you could have navigated to the next page in this module by clicking Next at the bottom of the screen after completing Logic Quiz 1. And if you did that, it would take you to this next page, the Retake Quiz information. So here there is information about retaking the quiz. By completing this, marking this as done, Logic Quiz 1 Retake becomes available. To check that off your list, all you have to do is view it, and then once that's checked off, your whole Logic Quiz 1 module will get a green check mark. The retake due date and grace period for submitting it late is exactly the same as Logic Quiz 1. That will be true of all of the future quizzes. I put this page here so that when you finish Logic Quiz 1 and advance to the next thing, and it's immediately the retake quiz, and there's that big blue button that says take the quiz, you aren't confused. In the future, I'm not going to have this page in between the actual quiz and the retake quiz Just know that when you finish the quiz, the next page is the retake quiz, and you don't have to take it unless you want to. And if you do want to, you don't have to take it right away. Indeed, you should probably review your answers to your first attempt, figure out why you got anything wrong, and then do similar practice exercises until you're more confident to take the retake. Okay, so if we hit next, we'll end up on the Logic Quiz 1 retake page, and merely by looking at this, we should get a green check mark. And we have, and now we've got the green check mark that says all things are completed. So now when you close this, there's a nice little check mark. If you want to retake the quiz, you're going to get a green check mark, but I don't think you'll be too confused about being finished if you got a score you're unhappy about. So it's kind of up to you to remember you need to come back and retake it if you want to. Okay, last but not least, I want to emphasize, repeat some advice I've given in the past, which is that in order to prepare for the quizzes, you need to test yourself by doing practice exercises. By test yourself, one thing you might do is print out a practice quiz and take it, sit down, do it within 1 hour like it's a real quiz. Or at the very least, do practice exercises without having the solutions in front of you. Only look at book, notes, solutions once you are stuck. Because if you're constantly getting stuck and you're getting things wrong, you're not ready to take the quiz. But if you are able to complete most of the questions without having to look and you just use your notes as a fallback once in a while, well, then you're probably ready. So make sure that you can do it without looking, because just sort of comparing questions and trying to figure out if what the answer to one was, to figure out the answer to another one without actually learning the material throughout the course won't serve you very well. And also, the material really builds on each other. So make sure that you're at least at like an 80% level of understanding as you move through, or else the future material will be especially difficult. Okay, that concludes my quiz advice video.